up. Something the Democrats made up. All right, like you never heard the word affordability before. Okay, bullshit ads. Trump says he's crushing inflation in speech to Pennsylvania voters as GOP faces affordability concerns. Yeah, he did a rally this week or today. Wondering how that went. My lagging's getting a little better. Trump says he's crushing inflation in speech to Pennsylvania voters as GOP faces affordability concerns. Washington. After weeks of decrying the focus on affordability and calling it a Democratic hoax, President Trump spoke in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. Oh, Mount Pocono. I'm very familiar with Mount Pocono. I used to ski there when I was a kid. Tuesday night, when I was a teenager. I couldn't afford to ski when I was a kid, not until I was old enough to pay for it myself, but that was a place that was very close and accessible to me. Tuesday night, President Trump spoke in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania Tuesday night to sell his economic agenda ahead of challenging midterm election season for congressional Republicans. What economic agenda? Mr. Trump spent much of the more than 90-minute long rally-style speech promoting and defending his economic record, saying America is winning again, quote unquote, and Pennsylvania, quote, is prospering again, unquote. He touted job growth in the key battleground state, which has a slightly lower unemployment rate than the nation as a whole and a decline in gas prices. The president also claimed his tariffs on foreign goods are paying dividends for the economy, for the U.S. economy. Despite worries from most economists that tariffs can lead to slower economic growth and higher consumer prices, he pointed to the tax components of his big, beautiful bill, including a plan to create investment accounts for children seeded with $1,000 from the federal government for eligible kids and a tax deduction. I wonder what an eligible kid is. A white kid? Blonde hair, blue eyes, Aryan youth. Mr. Trump highlighted his decision to let Japan-based Nippon Steel buy U.S. Steel, a major employer in Pennsylvania. He said his administration saved the company, which he said is now hot as a pistol. Hot as a pistol, is that a saying? The one thing you need steel, he said. You know you can give up certain products. You can give up pencils. You don't need $37 for your daughter. 2 or 3 is nice, but you don't need $37. I don't think people want $37. I think they want $1. They're not all, silver spoon Nepo babies like you, Trump, and all your kids and grandkids. He argued his administration is crushing inflation, and said, prices are coming down. Consumer prices rose 3% year over year in September, which is well below 2022 levels when inflation hit 9.1%. Yeah, except that was during the pandemic. But still higher than the Federal Reserve's 2% inflation target. Mr. Trump also continued blaming Democrats for affordability issues. Yeah, because they have been running the government for the last year. They caused the high prices and we're bringing them down, the president said. Prices have not come down. Anybody out there know of prices that have come down besides gas, which is like pennies? Not that much. If prices have come down in your area, go ahead and comment about it. After initially focusing on cost of living issues, Mr. Trump veered off topic at times, riffing about immigration and polling numbers of the audience about whether to refer to his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, as Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe. Joe Biden is never running for office again, so why do you keep talking about him? He also repeatedly brought up a fraud scandal that has enveloped Minnesota politics and pointed to the fact that most of the defendants are of Somali descent. At several points, he urged Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to do your job as Bessent's agency investigates allegations that Minnesota tax dollars went to the terror group of Shabab. Trump addresses affordability after calling issue a scam. The president has publicly and privately vented about the focus on affordability as an issue for weeks, referring to it as a hoax, a con job, and a scam perpetuated by Democrats. Okay, so Trump ran on affordability issues. He ran on bringing down prices, but now it's a scam. So it's convenient for him to run on and win the election because of economics, which is affordability, basically. It's why people voted for him. But now he's saying that it's a hoax. Mr. Trump but they're going to do, it's a hoax, but he's still going to do something about it, he's saying. Mr. Trump criticized Democrats for focusing on affordability issues in Tuesday's speech, though he said, I can't call it a hoax because they'll misconstrue that. Misconstrue that, sorry. Last week, the president called the affordability issue a fake narrative made up by Democrats to sway the public, but at the same time, he said he had inherited problems with affordability from his predecessor. They just say the word, quote unquote, the president said during the cabinet meeting on December 2nd. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. They just say it, affordability. I inherited the worst inflation in history. There was no affordability. Nobody could afford anything. Inflation has edged higher in recent months, partly due to the Trump administration's tariffs, but the latest inflation numbers have been delayed until mid-December because Trump is hiding the data after the Federal Reserve's interest rate setting meeting this week because of the recent U.S. government shutdown. In an interview published Tuesday, the president told Politico that prices are all coming down, quote unquote. Are they? Behind the scenes, aides told CBS News last week that the president has grown increasingly irritated by perceptions that his policies aren't easing prices. It's not perceptions, it's the facts on the ground. Trump has no idea. He's a nepotism baby. He's never bought groceries in his life. He sends his servants out to do that. He's never got gas in his life. He sends his servants out to do that. He doesn't do any of this stuff, so he has no idea what stuff costs, and he doesn't care because it's never mattered to him. His travel to sell his economic agenda in Pennsylvania is a quiet acknowledgement that he needs to do more to rally the public behind his policies. In Tuesday's speech, Mr. Trump said he decided to speak about affordability in part because Chief of Staff Susie Wiles told him he needed to start campaigning for the midterm elections. Polling shows voters are feeling the crunch of still high prices and the cost of living, as well as the challenging market for job seekers, and many at least partially blame Mr. Trump. In November, CBS News YouGov polls, 60% of respondents agreed Mr. Trump makes prices and inflation. 60% of respondents agreed Mr. Trump makes prices and inflation sound better than they really are. Nearly 2/3 of respondents said the president's policies are making grocery prices go up. Just 32% said the U.S. economy is good, down from 38% the month Trump took office in January. So that's 6% less than when Joe Biden was in office. Respondents were most likely to say the economy and inflation are the most important to them, of course, because nobody feels like they can get ahead now. The American dream is completely dead. The average age for somebody who buys a house now, first-time house buyers, is 49 or something, in their 40s. So what's Gen Z thinking? What are they going to do? Of course they hate this economy, but I'm a Gen Xer and I hate this economy too. And among those who listed the economy and inflation as their top priorities, 77% said the president is not spending enough time on those issues. Yeah, he's not. He's spending all his time in his golden ballroom that's being paid for by oligarchs who all got something out of it. They didn't just donate the money to the ballroom for free. They're all getting something out of it. You know, tariff carve-outs for their companies, merger deals like the Ellisons. They're getting TikTok out of it. The Palm Beach Post, a local paper near Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, published an opinion piece Tuesday with the headline, "Affordability is not a hoax. Trump reality costs too much." Ooh, that hurts. His own paper. his own local paper. Pennsylvania will feature key races for Republicans as they try to hold on to their majority in the House of Representatives in 2026. Mount Pocono, where Mr. Trump spoke Tuesday night, is just over 30 miles from Scranton, Biden's hometown. Cost of living worries still linger. Yeah, of course, because nothing's changed. It's gotten worse, actually. Everything is more expensive since Trump took office, except for maybe gas. You know, and the argument is that when gas comes down, everything else comes down. But these companies are gouging everybody, and they're not going to lower. If their prices go down, they're not going to lower prices. They're going to buy back stocks, raise their profits, their CEO pay compensation packages, and not kick it down to the average people. That's the problem. And Mr. Trump, or Trump, isn't going to do anything about that because they're all his buddies, you know. He can't relate with the average $50,000 a year worker or $30,000 a year impoverished family. He just can't relate. There's no way. He's never had that issue in his life. He was a millionaire by 1 year old. He had $1 million in his bank account. Mr. Trump's remarks come amid ongoing public frustration over the high cost of living in the U.S. Although U.S. inflation has fallen, the high cost of food, shelter, health, care, utilities, child care, and other basic necessities has remained a sore spot for millions of Americans. And I would even, you know, inflation has fallen since 2022, but it's the same as it was when he took over from Biden, 3%. It's like 0.02% less or something, but almost nothing. But the prices, when they did go up during, the prices that went up, basically since 2019 to now, prices went up 25 to 35%, and they haven't come down a bit because nobody's going after the corporations for gouging people, and they're making record profits. Mr. Trump has vacillated between downplaying complaints about the economy and defending his administration's efforts to address affordability issues. In November, for example, the Trump administration removed country-specific tariffs on imports of beef, bananas, and coffee as consumers continue to grapple with high food prices. Mr. Trump last month also discussed offering Americans a $2,000 payment funded by U.S. tariff collections, while this month he floated the idea of using tariff revenue to cut federal income taxes. More recently, Mr. Trump on Monday announced $12 billion in aid for farmers. So the revenue they got from tariffs, which is, you know, significant, you know, it's 100-something billion. But if he cut people's taxes, the average tax cut would be $500. So is an extra $500 in 2026 going to change your economic reality? It's not going to change mine. I don't think it's going to do anything. More recently, Mr. Trump on Monday announced $12 billion in aid for farmers who have struggled under tariffs and because of the U.S. trade war with China. We're bringing prices way down, Trump said at the White House on Monday. You can call it affordability or anything you want, but the Democrats caused the affordability problem, and we're the ones that are fixing it. He keeps saying that, but prices aren't coming down. See, that's the thing. He's successfully lied to the American people about all kinds of stuff, but you can't, you know, tell somebody that grocery prices are cheap when they are going to the grocery store and experiencing it for themselves. The economy has proved resilient this year despite earlier fears about the impact of steep new U.S. tariffs on imports. After losing steam in the first quarter, the nation's gross domestic product has accelerated in the second half of 2025, while the nation's labor market has remained steady despite slowing payroll gains. But the growth in the GDP is all AI. So it's all data centers. I mean, that's why the American people in general aren't feeling it. Sure, they're about to say it now, but financial markets also continue to hover in record territory, struggling off concerns about a bubble in AI companies. At the same time, some experts describe the economy as a K-shaped economy. All experts describe it as that. K-shaped is, you know, it's K-shaped. So going like this for the very rich and going like this for the very poor, or everybody else. So the 1%'s going up and everybody else, because once money is accrued, that much money is accrued, and the wealthy people, you know, all the wealthy people have accrued so much money that their money's just making money on top of money, and they're sitting on it. It's not trickle down economics, the Laffer curve, all that stuff. That's total conservative Republican bullshit from decades ago, and everybody should know now that that stuff is fake. Oh, we got one viewer. How's it going? At the same time, some experts describe the economy as K-shaped, a reference to the divergent fortunes of wealthier consumers compared with people lower down the ladder. People are out trick-or-treating out in front of my house right now. So yeah, Donald Trump's not bringing down prices. He's saying he's bringing down, he's trying to gaslight everybody and tell them he's bringing down prices, but we all know, I know, excuse me, and you guys know, that when you go to the store, prices are not lower. In fact, they're, and generally, every time I go, everything seems higher. Beef, cheese, that kind of stuff. You know, good cheese is like, it's always been expensive, but it's insane now. Dark chocolate's doubled in price in the last couple of years. Or all chocolate, but I like dark chocolate. Coffee, my $14 bag of 8 o'clock coffee, like, you know, it's the big bag. I can't remember how many, it's like a pound, I guess, or a couple pounds. You know, it was, you know, a couple years ago, it was $11.99. Now it's $17.99 at Walmart. I mean, it lasts me a while, but so this is what I was talking about, guys. You see this graph? See this graph right here? AI spending. That's why the GDP looks good, and you know, the stock market's doing well. But everybody else, excluding, if you take out the data centers and all the AI spending, this is the economy. Here it was under Joe Biden. It was rising through 23, 24. Trump takes over and we're just on a steady decline. I mean, and Trump just doesn't understand economics. His fix for everything is tariffs, which is just like immature, ridiculous, childish thinking. 2008 style meltdown incoming. U.S. Treasuries are having their best year since 2020, and the investors who had confidence and faith in President Trump's economic policies have been richly rewarded. Never bet against POTUS or America. You understand, the higher it is, the worse it is for our country. You know that, right? Right? Let me see this graph. I want to see this up close. So what do we have here? Bond market returns, percent. So under Trump, 15. Yeah, so people invest in the bond market when they think the you know, economy is unsteady. Basically, when they don't have faith in the stock market, they start buying bonds. So this is 2020, right? The pandemic, the start of the pandemic, and then 2022. This is actually where the economy was doing the best. That's what this graph is saying. And then now, again, the bond market, so you know, people are buying bonds basically because they don't trust the rest of the economy. Bonds are safe. They're, you know, backed by the US government, treasury bonds. It's basically the safest thing you could buy besides maybe like gold or something. Groceries, unaffordable, Trump builds ballroom. Who's watching? Go ahead and... You can't afford groceries, but don't worry because Trump is spending $300 million to build himself a ballroom, $230 million to give himself a settlement, $1 billion to upgrade a private jet he got as a bribe, $70 million to golf at his country club, and he got you to blame immigrants. Okay, let's take a look at this chart. Another interesting chart. Inflation America, food prices. Food price increases since January 2025. Coffee up 100%, so double. Ground beef up 14%. I thought it was more than that. Bananas up 8%. I always get bananas. It's even up 8%. It's a good, healthy food to buy. Chicken up 5.3%. Bacon up 3.5%. Lettuce up 7.5%. I have noticed lettuce costs a lot more. Lettuce kind of always costs a lot, but something I really enjoy more than bacon. I know I'm crazy, but I just feel a lot better after I eat lettuce than bacon. Food prices could increase in 2026 with meat leading the way, say Dalhousie researchers. Great. That's good news, huh? Food price could go up in 2026. Food prices in Canada could increase by 4%. Oh, that's Canada. We care about Canada, but not that much. Egg prices crack records. Every single financial crisis that harms and destroys the lives of regular people is followed up with record profits for the super rich. Every single time. This must be kind of old. Higher egg prices send profits at largest U.S. producers soaring more than 700%. It's pretty crazy how a 12-pack of Coca-Cola went from $3.99 to $10.99 in just a couple of years. I don't drink Coke either. It's too much sugar. Send you on the fast train to diabetes, but still, that's, you know, I'm not gonna lie, Coke tastes good. Every once in a while I'll have a Coke, but I'm glad I don't buy that much of it. I mostly drink water and coffee. And the worst part is that all these companies are lying about it being inflation. It's straight up price gouging. I think it's a little of both, to be honest. Ad for ChatGPT. Wait, let's see.
wasn't easy to test.
Oh, more perfect union. These guys are great.
Legitimate reasons. Receipts you can't compare. If we wanted to do this, we'd need a team. A researcher, community organizers, other journalists, and most importantly, regular people who care. Lots of them. 5 months of digging. What we found is bigger than Instacart. Yes, inflation is real, but something else has been pushing prices higher this whole time. There's a system, one that grocery stores and tech companies built together. It learns from every purchase.
It's not just online.
crunched the data. And when the data came back, I gotta be honest, I stared at it for a while because what we found was weird. I'm gonna show you some estimates. Some people were charging
Just the fact that it's $120 for 20 items was $60 a couple years ago.
5 different prices of three prices of the system sold it for the price of each person was charged. This estimate was $4 per SIM card, same with this store. This store is $75.
Okay guys, it's kind of a long video, but basically what they're doing now is these big companies is they're studying your habits, seeing how much you spend. They even have information about your income, and they're starting to, you know, build these algorithms that are gonna, when you go to the grocery store, they know who you are. There's cameras all over the place, barcodes, and they're charging you by what you can afford, basically. That's right. And that's the future of the economy. That's More Perfect Union. If you guys want to watch that, I'll link it in the live stream. Here, let's see. So I'll go ahead and link that in the live stream for you in the chat. There you go. If you want to watch it at a different time, I'm not going to spend all that time on it right now. The U.S. economy is collapsing from the inside out. Discover the signals of collapse. America is facing an economic breakdown that headlines barely touch. Household budgets are tightening. Debt is spiraling. Wages are stagnating. Yeah, debt is through the roof in America right now. So I know all the economic gurus tell you the first thing to do is get out of debt, but if I had massive credit card debt right now, I would just stop paying my credit card and worry about surviving. And, you know, yeah, your credit's going to get fucked up, but do you really need good credit? Credit just gets you more debt. But if you can afford, if you have the cash to pay off your debt, do that. This video explains the hidden internal failures: housing, healthcare, wages, inflation, corporate consolidation. So that's the video we just watched. Let's get real about inflation. Trump claims Biden created the highest inflation ever and Trump made it disappear. There is a basic rule in cause and effect in this world. The effect always follows the cause. What caused inflation to go to 9% during Biden? It was the worldwide economic disruption from the COVID pandemic, yes. That caused inflation to rise worldwide during the Biden administration. And inflation was lower in the US. A lot of places in Europe, inflation was 20%, 25%. The lag between cause and effect, it wasn't instant. Then COVID broke out. During Biden, it came down to 3%, partially due to his policies, but mostly because the American economy balanced on its own. Yeah, and it's still at 3, you know, so it's about the same as when Biden left office. So this crap the Republicans are saying all the time is, yeah, they're saying inflation was 9%, but that was 2-3 years before they won the presidency back. Older generations say we all struggled in our 20s. No, you didn't. You didn't pay $2,200 for rent and $7 for eggs. You didn't graduate into $50K student debt. Yes, we did. And $0 job security. A lot of Gen Xers didn't, but Gen Xers like me who started, you know, in the negative, you know, I've told this on my channel before, I grew up in a family of a single mom with 5 kids, so I was already in debt before I even turned 18. And if you don't understand that, then, you know, comment or something and I'll explain it in more detail to you. You know, and a lot of the kids I went to school with, I went to a, you know, I grew up in Long Island, New York, in a blue collar town. You know, most of my friends' parents were plumbers and electricians and lawyers, and, you know, but they all had the luxury of their parents having, you know, college accounts for them and stuff. Not me. Like I said, I was paying rent in my own house when I was 14 years old when I started working. That's what I mean by I was in the negative. You know, I was basically born in debt. Every subscription goes up, every bill goes up, every necessity goes up. The only thing that doesn't go up is the paycheck. That's right. This is why people are stuck in abusive homes, working themselves sick, or collapsing from stress. This economy isn't just failing, it's harming people. That's true. Poverty harms people. Again, I grew up in poverty. It sets you back years and years and years. It took me, you know, I didn't finish college, you know, get my bachelor's degree till I was in my mid-30s. Yeah, and some of that's my fault. You could say, you know, I had too much fun or whatever, but I also started working when I was 14 and didn't have a job from 14 till now, in my mid-50s. Has there ever been a time in history where there is such a massive gap between good food deals and laughable, horrible, price gouging food deals simultaneously? I won't use a real-world example to illustrate, or I want to use a real-world example to illustrate the massive gap in total ripoffs versus decent deals in the U.S. due to corporate greed. Yesterday I got a singular cheese gordita crunch from Taco Bell using DoorDash credit. So it was free. It was $7.09 before tax, smaller than I remember. I think so it was free as a joke. And I ate it in about 4 bites. I sat there staring at the tiny ass gordita crunch that had shrunk 30% since COVID years while almost tripling in price and has a tiny, tiny string of meat on the bottom. Just stood there completely speechless, like how? I was still hungry, so I went to my local Mexican joint. Okay, first of all, you shouldn't be living on Taco Bell gorditas. You're gonna get sick just from eating like that. But that's beside the point. You're right, everything's gotten more expensive, and some of the ways everything's gotten more expensive is by making the portions smaller. That being said, I travel a lot around the world. Portions are much smaller everywhere else in the world. Of course, the prices are less too. They're not gouging yet. Well, it depends where you are. And smaller portions are better for you. You're only hungry because you're eating that highly processed food with too much carbs and too much sugar, which just leaves you hungry. If you ate cleaner protein and, you know, say like hard-boiled eggs or scrambled eggs or something like that, you would walk away less hungry. But that's beside the point. You're right, everything is much more expensive. Breaking news, the U.S. Labor Department announced they canceled the October PPI. Yeah, they canceled the labor report because Trump doesn't want everybody to know how bad it was in October. It's a policy choice. Affordability concerns are real because tariffs raise important costs. Deportations make it harder to harvest crops. Attacking Obamacare hikes premiums. Budget deficits raise mortgage payments, and undermining the Fed risks inflation. Yes, 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 and yes. Okay. Let's see what the leopards eating my face posts are doing today. This is always a good one, a little different. Republican women suddenly realize they're surrounded by misogynists. Yeah, I saw that the other day. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace, they're saying now that the Republican men are, you know, misogynists, egomaniacs, but who didn't know that for the last, I don't know, 80 years or whatever? Monroe County, PA voted for Trump to fix the economy. Now Trump supporters are getting squeezed by higher and higher prices, for everything, as Trump claims affordability is a Democrat hoax. We're all broke and we're feeling it. He just had a rally in Pennsylvania today. Trump's speech is combating, that's what they're talking, combating inflation turns to grievance about immigrants from filthy countries. Of course it did, right? Is this a video? Yeah, here we go. Let's see what the buffoon had to say. Oh, sorry about that.
Prices, they gave you the highest inflation in history, and we're bringing those prices down rapidly. Lower prices, bigger paychecks. You're getting lower prices, bigger paychecks. We're getting
Who?
Inflation. We're crushing.
My paycheck hasn't risen. I'm a federal worker.
Wages. I mean, the only thing that
Trump just canceled the mandatory like 1.2% raises for federal workers, and he's out here spewing this bullshit.
it's really going up big. It's called the stock market and your 401ks. It's going up.
What?
But I say,
If anything, it's leveled
a
out.
lot of people misinterpret it. They say, oh, he doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially. But they have a new word. You know, they always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, this election is all about affordability. Now, they never talk about it. They never talk, thank you.
Every time Trump just learns a word for the first time, he says, they found a new word. I found a new word. But he does that with everything he learns for the first time, to be fair. But
That's all about it. That's okay. He said 4 more years. You see the new hat? We have 4 more years. 2020. We have all sorts of.
he's not going to live 4 more years. You see those bruises on his hand? He's getting, if you don't know it, Trump right now is getting experimental dementia drugs from his, you know, his super, you know, highly qualified, very expensive, but that he's not paying for, we're paying for, doctors at Walter Reed Medical Center, like his personal hospital. Look at these idiots. Dipshit, 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 super dipshit. He's probably gonna get on ice soon, this guy. He's applying to ice. Super dipshit. Look at him. They gave the guy in the back a sign to hold bigger paychecks. Bigger paychecks. Yeah, you put it on a sign, that'll make it real. Okay, lies, lies, and more lies. But what do you expect from Trump? Let me make sure that mic's even on. Yeah, it is. Yeah, one of the wars he supposedly ended, Cambodia-Thailand border war, it's back on. Marjorie Taylor Greene claims she shared with Trump death threat she received that he incited, and his response was extremely unkind. You reap what you sow, Marjorie. Yeah, this guy went to fight for Russia in the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and he was killed by his fellow Russian soldiers because they thought he was a spy. That's what an idiot looks like, see? Idiot. American idiot. I'm an American idiot. Isn't that how the Green Day song goes? My one listener. Neighbors helping each other. Good morning. I thought about writing multiple times, but I could not do it. I'm so embarrassed, but my husband got deported, and now I need to pay everything on my own, in my own, she said, but on my own she meant, which is hard. I'm financially struggling, almost homeless. I know it's not y'all's responsibility to help me, but I'm asking for my kids' Christmas present. Anything helps. Girl size 3T or 4T, girl size 2T or 3T, boy 11, 12 or small, or any toys. My boys love action figures. He's 11 years old. My girls, anything is fine. If you are not helping, please don't comment. I read some of y'all comments questioning that I was a supporter of Trump administration. Yes, I was. He fooled a lot of us. You gotta learn how to end sentences sometimes. He fooled a lot of us. We have the rights to be wrong. The right to be wrong. He said that why can't any Trump supporters use grammar? He said that he will only deport criminals, but he's deporting good people too. But is his country, he can do whatever he thinks is best for America. So you still think he could do whatever he thinks is best for America. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna send you kids Christmas presents. Yusuf Sota. Until 2028, I'm dedicate my whole social media to some anti-Trump and fuck MAGA shit until he leaves office in 3 years. Low key, it didn't have to be like this. I voted for Trump last year. Another guy who can't use grammar or doesn't know how to use grammar. But the old racist piece of shit showed his true colors when he attacked my Somali American community in Minnesota. Okay, it's his second language. I'll give him a break. What's with the 4 dot and 5 dot ellipses? Motherfuck him. I refuse to call him my president, even though I did voted for the racist piece of shit. Low key, I should have never voted for that old orange fascist bigot. But I wasn't going to vote for Kamala either. I should have just stayed home that election night. Low key, I was cool with Trump until recently he started racially attacking my Somali. I don't know how many times I have to repeat this, but I'm going to say it again. These MAGA idiots do not turn on Trump until it happens to them. You know, FAFO, that they voted to have other people thrown out of the country. They voted to have other people thrown in jail. They voted to have other people stripped of all their wealth. But once it happens to them, then they disown Trump. Until recently started racially attacking my Somali American community, and y'all know I'm not in that fucking MAGA cult. Only people I love unconditionally is my parents, mom and dad. Once again, I'm on that fuck Trump bandwagon now. All I'm doing is posting nothing but anti-Trump, fuck MAGA shit, low-key, the next 3. Doesn't sound low-key, he keeps saying low-key. The next 3 years is gonna be interesting. Hey Siri, play Fuck Donald Trump by Nipsey Hussle. That's hilarious. Oh, 2 people watching. We got 9 more minutes and then I'm done, guys. But thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. I love you guys watching this, and hopefully someday I'll have 1,000 people, 100,000 people watching. But right now I'm just trying to get to 3,000 subs. So please subscribe, share this with a friend, like, get a membership if you want. You don't have to, but you know, that costs money. But subscribe. That would be the best thing. Make America great again. President Trump, you are heading to Pennsylvania the next 2 days. All I keep hearing about is affordability, but here in PA, our gas prices are extremely high and not moving down. Yeah, gas is always kind of high in PA. You know, I lived in West Virginia, close to PA, and I would never go to PA to get gas because it's always more than West Virginia. But then again, I grew up in New York, which gas is even more usually. And then if you go to California, it's just insane. In Colorado, where I live now, gas is always kind of high, and they always say, oh, it's because it's in the mountains, but I don't see how that has anything to do with it. I mean, we're also just 10 hours from Texas, where all the gas refineries are in the Gulf of Mexico. Gas prices are extremely high and not moving down. I just received a letter last week stating my water company was approved to raise my rates. My electric bill has gone up continuously. Our cable insurances, food and phone bills continue to rise monthly. I voted for you all 3 times. All 3 times? What did he do the first time that made everybody vote for him 3 times? I don't get it. I mean, I was around for all of them, and you know, nothing changed for me when Trump became president the first time, except for there was more racists, more bigots out in the open. You know, people felt like they could be racists right out in the open. You have been doing a wonderful job with other countries, but seems like we have been put on the back burner because Shapiro, I think it's Josh Shapiro's their governor, keeps raising our taxes on these things, and now he's taking our tax dollars to pay for his house upgrades and remodeling after his fire, while the rest of us would have to depend on our fire insurance and out of our own pockets. Our welfare system is out of control to the point people have told me, do you not know about the $300 million ballroom? Yeah, he's got that paid for by bribes from oligarchs, which he's paying off in other ways. But once that ballroom is built, who do you think has to pay for the utilities and the upkeep and the maintenance and the maids and all the people that work there? The American tax dollar. Our elderly have to make choices of food or medicines. Yes, the stock market has been great, wonderful. It's just even. Unfortunately, those of us in SWPA can't afford the stock market. Or Southwest PA, yeah. Can't afford the stock market. Please help Pennsylvania. I have been waiting patiently. I love Southwest PA. Ohio, PA, great place to go kayaking. Priya is back again with a tweet saying, not all cultures are equal and we shouldn't be importing the third world, but the audience she's trying to pander to have some interesting things to say about her ethnic background. Okay, so I have no idea. Priya Patel, who's that? Not all cultures are equal and we shouldn't be importing the third world. It's just that simple, says Priya Patel on X. And some of her comments, your name does not sound American. Goodbye. Oh, you thought you get to stay? No. Now you get on. You go on. Get. When I say mass deportations, I don't mean just the illegals. Those are her people, the MAGA. That's funny how these brown and black people think that because they voted for Trump that they're accepted. You're not accepted. I mean, I accept you. I'm a progressive and a kind person, but these MAGA people are mostly racists. They don't like you. So you got to learn that, brown and black people and, you know, Latinos. Yeah, eating cow poo and drinking cow piss should not be imported anywhere. Whatever filter you're using, nah, still not white. Someone out there is still trying to figure out how to scrub that curry smell out of your parents' home. Indians are like hermit crabs. They seriously can't understand that they are third worlders in a white skin suit, just as a hermit crab thinks an old tin can is its shell. What? They're not white, but anyway, all that shit is so racist. You people are, I mean, I'm sorry, Priya, that so many Americans are white, but it sounds like you want to join their clan. I mean, so many Americans are racist. Go back to India, you smelly bitch. Jesus Christ. What is going on in the world? And we care about your opinion because how to destroy any country. Shut up, Indian clown. Oh my God. Cool story, Patil Jeet. Now fuck off to India. Spitting facts here. Not all cultures are created the same. We have let people in that want children for brides, that want to own women, that want to be able to, that want to be able to stone women for not wearing full coverings, that think it's perfectly fine to murder others that don't believe. This guy's a super racist. Your last name is Patel, so I'm guessing you're a poop jet descendant whose ooze we don't want you to hear neither. Alan Crott said, and he's pretty much illiterate, but that goes with the terrier of the MAGA racists. You shouldn't have made this video. Nobody's going to take you seriously when you're from the third world talking about how the third world isn't bad and shouldn't be imported. Laughing my LMAO. You look like you stink. Oh my God. Here's a meme of an Indian guy looking in a mirror at a white blonde-haired guy. Talk about Nazis, jeez. This is your brother, and is he welcome from Mother India? I mean, your name is Indian, so what are you talking about? Someone once let your family immigrate to the U.S. Jeez. So many of them. These people are so racist. I can't believe there's this many racists. I guess I can believe there's this many racists. I mean, most of the people I grew up with are racist. They all voted for Trump on the basis of racism, I'm sure, because they're middle-class people and they're all being hurt by his policies. I agree. Now go back to India, Ms. Patel. Deport Priya. Is there more? No. That's just insane. Okay guys, that's about it from me. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, like, buy a super chat if you want to help me out, but I will see you on the next one. Peace out from the spin cycle. Keep it real and vote progressive.